Hello, everybody. Hopefully you have audio on everything. Sorry, running a little bit late there. Not the best lighting setup tonight, so we're just gonna have to roll with it. Things on to the channel. Yeah, I don't. You know what? Honestly, I don't know what I forgot to put this camera up, so we'll just have to see how the guitar camera is looking tonight. Might not be the best. Anyways, can you guys hear me okay? Can you see me okay? You know what, I didn't get to do any of this. I saw Gary, I didn't get to do the pre-show, this live stream, man. So sorry about that. I don't know any Frampton. No, I think I learned Born to Run at one point. Oh, that's Bruce Springsteen. Never mind. I don't know any Peter Frampton. Big Red Tower in the house. I thought I saw Sam. Are you already here, dude? Up, such a cool Strat. Thank you very much, man. I feel very, very honored to get to own it. So, for as long as it gets to be mine, I appreciate the time. Play some Yngwie with the octave down thrown in there. Hold on one second, make sure that I have and you guys have to let me know. Normally the channel members help me out get all this stuff set up, and like I said, I didn't get to do it the pre-show tonight, so hopefully the audio is okay. It's kind of loud. If it's too loud, let me know. I'll turn my levels down because this mic picks up a lot of it. I was just talking to Gabby, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I need to make sure I go upstairs and have a little bit of time to play, because I have not touched. I touched a guitar because I took a picture of it. Of this guitar, but I have not played a single note on the guitars today. Justin, YouTube opener rock. Thank you, dude. Thank you. Play some hair metal. Dude, always, right? Tony, what's up, buddy? Oh, there's some camera stuff on the screen. I wonder why. That's on there. That's a great question. Let's see here real quick. Oh, now that's recording. Now this is the right camera. Give me 1 second here, guys, real quick, to see if this helps at all. Either that or it's gonna just ruin everything. So we'll find out shortly. No, it's still on there. How strange. There we go. Should be gone now. Camera stuff. I gotta remember to hit the info button. technology these days. I know, right? Well, and this is like, this setup is way above my pay grade. Like, I you know, all my other streams have always, other than the last two, have always been just a webcam. This is so much more complex. So, good to go. There you go. If you, I can't do this. If you want to hear just the guitar, I can kill the room mic. Trying to learn one of my own licks, just because I did it in the, what was the last video I posted? The Les Paul video. I did this lick. No. I bent, I remember now. My fingers just kind of did it, so I was like, I'm not real sure what I did, and I've been kind of like breaking it down, because that's totally a stolen, that's a Sean Tubbs thing. Sean doesn't necessarily do it in that particular way. He does it more kind of more that situation. So what I started doing was I was kind of like, again, I steal so many of Sean's licks, but I did it more with like my major third thing that I got from Warren DeMartini. I'm grabbing the flat 5 here instead of there like Sean does. Gilmour versus Hendrix. I'm much more of a Hendrix fan. You know, it's funny. All these, you guys can say if you've ever had the similar things happen to you. A lot of times there's like famous guitar players, I know for me personally, that just don't click with me. Hendrix honestly took a very long time for me to get to where I really liked Hendrix. That might sound like weird. Like now I love Hendrix, but it took me a long time to get to where I really, really liked Hendrix. And I like David Gilmour, but I haven't gotten to that point where I like love listening to David Gilmour. As you know, bad as that might sound to even utter those words, I'm not saying he's not incredible, but I'm the same way with the Beatles. You know, like I've never had that like that moment where a piece of their music has grabbed me to where I'm like, oh, I want to learn all their stuff now. You know, I had that eventually with Hendrix, and I, you know, when, you know, huge Hendrix kick, you know, years and years ago now, and to this day I still absolutely, like, you know, worship Hendrix. But Sean has the most stealable. Like, Sean does have the most stealable. Hey James, what's up, buddy? I'm bummed I won't be seeing you now. The Guitar Fest stuff is all moved. Why do I have so many amps? Because you always need one more, right? No, to be honest, the amps are all very different. You know, that's a Marshall. It's a Friedman, which is Marshall based, but you know, it's its own thing for sure. The Rev is very American sounding. Orange, again, a whole different kind of British. Another Rev, which that is more of a, I don't know, like Fendery clean, but the distortion just kind of sounds like a Rev, to be honest. So they all do different stuff. You have to let them pass comfortably numb and stuff. Yeah, see, that's a good point. See, as far as Pink Floyd goes, you know, and Gilmour, I only know the hits. That's all I've ever heard from them, and it's never really been never really been appealing to me. But that doesn't mean that, you know, like I said, I won't find that stuff. And now that you mention that, that's pretty much what happened with me and Hendrix. You know, I learned more of, you know, the hit songs, but then I would learn things like that wasn't Voodoo Child, you know, that wasn't Foxy Lady, that was, you know, Manic Depression, or, you know, like that stuff, and then I really dove into it. More of a Page fan than Hendrix fan. I think most of you guys probably know where Page sits on my list of guitar players. He's right up there at number 2, right next to Eddie Van Halen. So, funny story. This is the first time I've had real pants on in like weeks, really. Like I said, basically, and because I've just been, sweatpants and like pajamas. There's no reason not to, other than when I do YouTube videos. And I like put the pants on today, and I'm like, whew, all right, getting a little bit tight. I think I need to calm down on all the pizza. Is your dad's favorite band? So I grew up. Yeah, that's like I think Pink Floyd is Gabby's dad, so my father-in-law. It's one of his favorite bands, and I can't listen to like an album of their music. I have tremendous respect for them, but I don't like slow music all the time, and I've never really heard a Pink Floyd song that was up tempo enough for me to be like, all right, this one's kind of moving. There's the one is like. Heck, TK is live now too. What do I do? Oh no! Run! I didn't know he was going live. That's part of the reason why I chose this late at Saturday night. Is for one, it just works out for me better with Mason. He's always asleep by this point. But it's hard to find times when someone else isn't already live streaming. I try to always watch that, but is it the end of the month? No, I don't see. And like I said, sometimes it just happens. Never been a huge fan of Pink Floyd either. Yeah, same here, Gary. Same here. Yeah, Ron, man, check out TK's stream and. If you listen to the album Animals, you will like it. Okay, cool. I'll do that, man. Kiss? Not a big Kiss fan either, to be honest. I definitely know some of their stuff. Like I've covered some of their songs and bands I was in. I don't really know how to play them right now off the top of my head. I like more of the 80s Kiss, without the makeup on. That's the era of Kiss that I really like. Heaven's on Fire and all those songs are really the ones that like got me into Kiss. Get your back full time, Robert. Thank you so much, Scooby Staff. It's hard to say. Thank you. It felt so good to be making videos again. I was gonna launch my live guitar clinic thing that I'm gonna be doing this week, and I decided to hold off because it was my first week back to making videos, and I was like, well, just instead of just diving in and filling up my plate, I was like, just kind of just chill with it. Obviously there's still so much going on. I think next week I might launch the sale on my 8-course guitar bundle, but we'll have to see. I've talked about that a bunch, and part of the reason why I didn't do a sale last month, like what I had planned, and edited out me talking about it in all the videos, was because there's so many musicians who just weren't as I was very fortunate to be have transitioned to all online, but think about how many musicians lost gigs and all that stuff, and I kind of just felt like I could run a sale on my courses right now, and but we're able to wait a month to do it, and I was like, maybe someone would have bought my course and not been able to support that musician who literally like has just lost all income. So I was like, if I can afford to do it, wait a month, have more, a little bit more kind of just money out there to hopefully help the other musicians who are just going through such a shock. A lot of people are having to transition to online now, to doing Skype lessons, like, who are maybe full-time touring people or Patreon, like all these different things. So I figured, waiting a month, if it won't hurt, it won't hurt me to do it, and hopefully it helps someone. Favorite 80s metal band? I don't know, man. I've learned so much extreme, but then I think I'm like, yeah, but I've learned so much 80s Aussie, and I've learned so much Dokken and Lynch Mob and just Rat. It's hard. I don't know if I have a favorite, but they're all just right there. Where does Joe Walsh sit on your scale? Oof. I love, dude. Fellow, even though I'm from South Carolina, but I grew up in Ohio, so I consider myself an Ohio guy, and Joe Walsh is royalty here. So he's very, very high, and I respect him immensely as a musician. Robert, you seem like the guy who would appreciate a great Oh, dude, I love Warren. Warren DeMartini is the one who got me into Charvels. I love Charvel guitars, and it was seeing the Warren's sword, cross sword guitar, and just all of those, man. How much relief do you like on your Strat neck? Also, I'm from South Carolina too, Greenville. Where are you from? I'm from Camden, man. And you know what? I don't know anything about neck relief or anything about that. But I probably should know that kind of stuff, but I don't. I honestly, I just play the guitars, and if the action gets too high or too low, I just I'll crank on the truss rod a little bit, and get it back to where I kind of like it. But I don't know, anything about measurements or anything. Like this guitar, I haven't touched it. This is just how it was when I got it. The only thing I've done to this guitar is I replaced some of the inner workings of it, because it did have CTS pots in it. Nice modern CTS pots, but I did a video on it if anyone hasn't seen it. But we actually tracked down a pair, sorry, not a pair, 3 of them. Is that a pair? I don't know. Of original 63 pots, which, they are different because in a 63 it should have stack pole pots, not CTS. They weren't using CTS pots yet. So I put stack poles in here, and it's because the values are kind of all over the place. It's kind of like what makes them what they are. Oddly enough, it's like they're not a very high tolerance, like I had one pot measuring in at like 265, and one was like 243. Like they're really all over the place. And we did that, and then of course we found an original 63 switch to put in this, to put it back to a 3-way. And so many people told me that going back to a 3-way was the wrong thing to do, and I knew inside, I'm like, no, this is the right thing to do. And I'm so happy that I put this back to a 3-way. Best decision. What's your opinion on Steel Panther? I like Steel Panther a lot. Obviously Russ or Satchel is a phenomenal guitar player. So I like them. I have the first album and the second album, I think. And I don't have any of the other ones. The issue with that is, it's hard to listen to them because, my wife doesn't really like them, and if we're in the car, I don't want Mason listening to them, so I don't listen to them that much, just because it's hard to find the right timing to turn them on. What about Eric Clapton? He's another Strat guy. Love Clapton. I always thought like a solo I want to cover. I'm going to do a lesson on at some point. Is the solo to Cocaine. It's such an amazing solo because it's all basically. I think if I remember, I don't remember how to play it. Whatever it is, I don't remember it now. I need to go back and actually like study it. But it's like it's simple, but there's so many little things to take away from it. Even I was just listening to some Robin Ford, and I started to break down one of his solos. And I love whenever you're learning someone's stuff, and you steal like that. It's like the smallest idea. I don't know why that's always been what I've loved. Tim Pierce just played a lick in his video he posted today that I'm gonna figure out because he did something really, really cool in there, which is the more complicated lick. But I love whenever someone does something simple. And what Robin Ford did was, I don't even remember what key it was in. It might have been, was he playing in B? I don't remember. But I'll do an E. But he had this move right here. He went. And I was like, that's so cool. So like it's like out of box 5. That little move there, and I was like, oh, that is, and this is why I never really like learn anything note for note, because I'll hit, like there will be this one idea that jumps out at me, and it just completely derails me, and I'm off. I'm like, whoa, I could use this here, I could do this here, and then it just kind of takes you off into your own thing. But, crash into you. Play that. I learned it a long time ago when I was first learning guitar because that's like one of my mom's favorite songs. So I remember when I can get it in position 4, it'll sound a little. That ain't position 4. There it is. I love Motley Crue, Mick Mars is probably one of my favorite riff writers. I never learned a Mick Mars solo, but riffs, man, it's in there. Oh, dude, Gary, thank you so much, man. I was watching some of your first videos the other day. Oh, oof. I really missed that old white SoCal you had. Also, thanks for commenting on my Bon Jovi cover 9 years ago. Made me discover your channel. Oh, dude, well, thank you, man. And, yeah, that SoCal was really, really nice. My buddy, the Tone King, owns it now. So every once in a while, you see it pop up, or he'll, like, text me a picture of it. He's like, hey, look what I'm playing today. I'm like, hey! That was actually the guitar that so many people associated me with. Because for a while, it was the only guitar I had. I had to sell everything. So that was... Yeah, I think that was when I was down to one guitar, that was the one I had. So that was the one that could kind of do the most of what I was wanting. Do I have any tips for sorry. Daniel is asking, do you have any tips to keep learning songs and not lose motivation? Yeah, I always say when you're learning something, kind of like what I was just talking about with the Robin Ford thing, is make sure that it's not just learning it. Like learning it is a very small portion of it, but understanding it and then stealing it is so important because a great example is what I talked about early on. I don't know if you were here early on in the stream, but like I said, I stole this Sean Tubbs lick. He did it in it's a demo he did. It's called the Flex. Watch it. It's like the craziest playing. But he did a lick like this. And he's just walking down essentially these pentatonics, but I love how he included that major 6. He did something like that. I can't remember the exact lick now. But anyways, so I stole that lick. And what I started doing with it to make it a little bit different, so I wasn't just, blatantly copying him, and do this with songs. When you learn songs, take ideas and try to like twist them a little bit. So what I started doing was I started incorporating it more instead of how he did it with the major 6. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do what I like to do is I like to add the major 3rd. And even though the heart and soul of it is still Sean's, I clearly stole it from him. I started adding that vibe, all over the place. So, like even in that, like I did earlier, I started throwing it in a lot of places. I just liked the way he kind of stuttered through it. Even kind of like running it into a more Eric Johnson kind of. I don't know nearly as much. I love Deep Purple, but I have not spent a lot of time learning Ritchie Blackmore stuff, and I think I need to. I'm gonna do that. Any tips on how to get a great 80s tone? I might do a video about that. I have an 80s course coming out, which now that might not come out now until might be like a Black Friday thing. I'm not sure. I was originally going to do 2 courses this year, but with obviously all this stuff going on, that I might just only do 1 this year. Because like I said, this month now I'm going to be doing the sale on my 8-course bundle again, and then in June it'll be my rock and roll boot camp again, and then probably would wait until September. That way they're not all so super close. Remember that Stratocaster sounds gorgeous. Thank you very much, Nate. I love this guitar. I play it, constantly. You out of here, Gary. Thank you so much for tuning in, dude. Thank you for the super chat, and I hope you have a great Sunday, man. The days are all blending together for me, so I don't even know what day it is anymore. Any tips on playing melodies by ear instantly? Well, let's just go to the guitar cam for this one. Wow! Well, clicked the wrong thing. Wow! I knew the guitar cam wasn't going to be set up right, though. It's a little bit bright. Sorry, I don't have my controls up here, but I can get them. There we go. So melodies, like I said, it's the same with kind of like writing a riff. Is what it comes down to. So if I'm trying to come up with a melody, it's almost like you have to be really into it. It's kind of like the person who can like sing like the lines like. So I think it's a lot of it is just kind of being in tune with yourself. No, that's not position 5. Okay, there's position 4. So that's honestly a really good way to me to practice that is to say the notes you're playing. I'm not a good singer, but it's just kind of like an interesting way to really get yourself in sync. That kind of stuff. So when you come up with melodies, a lot of it is you just have to kind of like hear where it's going. So if I was to play something, I think rhythm first. So I'm kind of playing over. So, there you have it. Oh, nope, that is the wrong camera again. Bam. So I don't know if that helps, but I always think of like, just like it's like rhythm, you know. It's almost like there's a drum. So a lot of times if I'm just trying to come up with something melodic or even like a riff, you know, just kind of like play. And you know, what I mean by that is you don't have to play notes, but play, you know. So on, and then you have a riff. What's a good way to learn music theory from home? And then HSS or SSH strats, and why? You know what, I'll switch guitars in a second to my HSS. I think HSS is the more versatile of the two, but you know, obviously in this situation, I'm not gonna you know, get rid of the original pickups. You know, this is to me a truly what a Strat sounds like is a, you know, SSS guitar, but HSS to me is the ultimate pickup, you know, configuration. So I'll switch to the Friedman here in a second. Can you even see those guitars? I think I moved my camera a little bit. I did whenever I was messing with that stuff. That's where my camera's supposed to be. And if I go out of focus or something, guys, or if I'm not in focus, just let me know. And learning theory at home, you know, there's a lot of really good small things that I think a lot of people jump over with theory, because, you know, theory is such a broad topic. But I always tell people, you know, start with if you just know your pentatonic scale, start up by learning that. All 5 positions, all over the place, up and down, left and right, learn it a bunch of directions, learn it 3 note per string, and but learn what notes you're playing. So like you know, I reference a lot that I like to resolve sometimes, or, you know, end a phrase on your minor 7. You know, versus always going to your root. It is your root, but you don't want to end on your root every single time. Okay. Sounds great, but after you do it like 3 times in a row, it's kind of like, all right, what else? So so I like to go to the like minor 7 a lot. You know, when I'm playing. So there's my minor 7. But you really only know where those notes are by just being able to identify where they are on the neck. So, you know, for me, a really easy way that I you know, I mapped out my root notes a lot. So if you have my rock and roll boot camp course, you know where all your root notes are because we have a big section on that. So like on the part 2 of that course, we're going to talk about mapping out your thirds and then your 7s. And so just like that, like I said, it's very little theory that you can throw in here. And sorry, someone said Tim Pierce, dude. I love Tim Pierce. I got it. Like I said, he has this lick that he did. He has like a million licks that I wish I could tab out. But he did one today. It really, really caught my ear. I'm like, oh my god, what is that lick? It was the way he rolled out of it. It was so cool. Such a Tim thing. I'll say that, you know, I got to jam with him 2 NAMs ago, and you know how when you sit down by a guitar player and you truly realize how good they are. That happened to me when I sat down beside Tim. Because for one, I had really bad airplane hands. So if you haven't, you know, flown a whole bunch, my hands are always stiff for a couple days after I get somewhere. So I had to like jam with Tim, and my I felt bad because I did not play very well. But Tim has what I wish I could do on guitar. He has this natural flow. Like he just, you know, like sometimes like I feel like I'm still boxy and choppy. And he just flowed across the fingerboard, and I was like, God, he's just so good. So, yeah, I love Tim Pierce. Anyway, sorry, the theory at home thing is, like I said, learn where all your root notes are. Again, I like to, end a lot of things on the minor 7 instead of the root. Or make sure you know where your thirds are. Knowing where your major and minor third are is incredibly crucial to mapping stuff out. But you can take a very simple lick. Like, that's not really a fancy lick. It's just a good old rock, Angus Young style lick. But go to your minor 7 instead of your root. Boom. It's like it's a new lick. Steve from Boston! What's up, buddy? How are you doing, man? I've been trying to learn Steve or Eric Johnson. Any tips on learning? SRV by Eric Johnson. I've never tried to learn that one, to be honest. But learning any of Eric's stuff is you just have to really take your time with it. If you're trying to really capture his feel. I've never really learned anything by Eric note for note. He's another one of those guys, like he'll do something and I'll like and I'll be like, oh, that's really cool, and then I'll stop learning and I'll just like focus on that one idea. Any tips for self-taught guitarists? Yeah, to be honest, try to get some lessons. As dumb as that might sound, like it doesn't matter like what level of self-taught you are. Like I had lessons in the very beginning years of playing, but the majority of my stuff is self-taught. And I still always, like, I still, will message and bug guys like Doug Rappaport and Sean Tubbs. I'm like, hey, when are you going to do Skype lessons? And like, nah, man, I just can't right now. So I'm always looking to do lessons with other people. And it's just because if you're self-taught, you might really want to hone in on someone else who's doing something that you like. So that's what I really recommend is find those guys that you really admire and just are inspired by and try to get a lesson from them. Save up some money, whatever it is. Don't buy that new pedal that you're waiting on, or don't buy whatever it is. Hold off and just get a lesson with someone. Get a lesson with one of these guys. Doug Rappaport or Andy Wood, or I don't know if Mark Letary or someone like that does lessons, but oh my god, or Rick Graham, any of those guys. Any tips on musicians just starting YouTube? Yeah, man, just stick with it. I think, and this might seem not music related, but your number one goal, if you start YouTube, if you want to really make YouTube a career, and this will sound not mean, I don't know what the word is. It sounds very unmusician-y. But your number one goal when you start your YouTube channel is, for one, make sure you're doing what you like. Make sure that you enjoy it. But as far as taking YouTube seriously, you have to get your YouTube channel to where it is being monetized, which might sound like the wrong advice to give. It's like, it shouldn't be all about money. But I'm just saying, if you want to make it your career, because YouTube, honestly, will not care about your channel until you get whatever the criteria is to be monetized. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to make your channel all about money, because I certainly tried not to do that. This is my job, and I take it very seriously. But I also try to not make every decision I ever do on the YouTube channel always about money. But if you really want to build your channel, you've got to get it to that point where it's monetized, because then as soon as you're making YouTube money, they care about you. They care about you a whole lot more. So, like I said, it might sound dumb, but it's just kind of like, unfortunately, that's the way that it is. But if you're doing that, man, figure out how many hours you need, upload a lot of content, spend a lot of time. And one of the best things you can do is just invest back in, to your channel. Get new cameras, get new lenses. I mean, that's what we did last year. It's not the most flashy thing to get. It's not as cool as a new guitar, but we got new camera lenses, to try to make the picture quality look better and all that stuff. But it's, that's just kind of the way that it is if you're really trying to pursue YouTube. Oh, Tony, dude, thank you so much for the super chat, man. I really appreciate that, buddy. And you know what? And you know what? Past all that stuff, the monetization, I'll say, you know what? The number one thing is, because I really appreciate that, Tony, is just to be nice and be nice back to the people who are so kind to watch you. Like, you guys are always incredibly nice to me. You know, I think that we have one of the best, and you know, and I don't feel bad saying this at all. I think we have one of the best communities on YouTube, because you can see it in the comment section. Like, I'll go to to try to respond to some people, and you guys will have already responded with it, and it's a very, very good and positive community that's on this channel, and that's because of you guys. You know. Oh, Sam, dude, thank you so much. Some losses, man. Thank you, dude. Yeah, but all that stuff, like I said, you know, and just make sure you're always trying to make the channel better. You know, don't settle. You know, just always better. I mean, that's, like I said, that's what we've always tried to do. And part of that, honestly, here's another really good tip. Sorry, and I'll get off this little tangent. You want to know what else makes your channel better? Is play better. Because I know for me, I remember talking to Gabby about that. I was like, you know, I need to. This was years ago, and now I'm thankful to look back at videos and feel confident that I'm like, you know what, I have learned, you know, a couple of extra licks over the past 8 years of doing YouTube. But really be mindful and care about your playing. You don't have to be perfect. No, nobody really wants a robot, but be better, and YouTube will push you to be better, because you need to, you know, like I said, I don't waste time thinking like, oh, I don't want to show people my best ideas. I'm like, oh yeah, show them the best ideas. Then I got to come up with more. So it's like a never-ending thing. Have you heard the band called Anger? Oh yeah, that's with. Well, I don't know if Kiko is still in the band, because obviously he's in Megadeth now. But that was Kiko's band, right? Kiko's incredible. There's an abundance of kindness in this day and age. I am thankful for people being kind. Yeah, man. There's, you know what? There's a lot of channels who you know, unfortunately capitalize more on negativity, and unfortunately that breeds negativity in the channel. But like I said, I feel like this channel, you know, who has time for that kind of stuff? Little Rody Guitar, hey, yo man, we're doing good. How are you? You know, and that was rude of me. I didn't even ask. How are you guys doing? Sorry about that. Yes, and thank you again, everyone, for the super chats. That's very, very nice of you. Keep one amp. What's your? Well, that question took me for a loop, because asking about an amp and then the HSS. I have a few HSS guitars that I'm lucky to own. I'll switch to them real quick. One amp. You know, my favorite amp is still my Rev Dynamis, to be honest. So I'd probably be that amp. The built-in reverb is amazing, incredible cleans. I really like the distorted sound on it. Ugh. Let me switch guitars here. Probably should have put this guitar stand closer. It's so far away. Oh, man, that hurt. Just cracked my knee with the guitar. Good thing the guitar is not made out of something like wood, otherwise that would have hurt. Tony, I've learned so much from Rick Beato. I'm a humongous Tom Bukovac fan, and if you guys have not subscribed to his channel, I think it's 501 Chorus and Delay. He's been posting these things called Corona Lessons. Man, I am such a big fangirl of Buck. He is an incredible guitar player. I wish I was a fraction of the guitar player he is. And go watch his stuff, man. He's one of those guys. You know, I talk about Pete Thorne, Tim Pierce, Rick Beato, all those guys that whenever they're talking and stuff like that, it's like you need to not talk. You need to just listen and soak up every ounce of what they're willing to share with us. And you know, and Buck is one of those guys that he's just, you know, I mean, think about it. He's like one of the most recorded guitarists ever, you know? one of the top Nashville guys. So that's one thing. To be one of the top Nashville guys, it's like that's the best of the best that's there, and he's one of the top guys. You know he's good. You know, toured with Joe Walsh. Someone was talking about Joe Walsh earlier. Vince Gill. So many of these guys. You know, I love his guitar too. You know what's funny? I'm gonna do a video about this here real soon, maybe next week. But I did something to this guitar, and it just made it come alive to a whole nother level. Like, you know, I've loved this guitar since I got it, but I kept it in standard tuning. So whenever those guys know exactly. Yep, that's exactly right. Those guys just know. So there is no questioning their authority when it comes to this stuff. Because unless you've done 10,000 sessions and played on #1 songs and toured around the world and all that kind of stuff right along with them to the same degree, it's kind of like no, I'm not there. I'm just gonna listen to what they have to say. But anyways, what I did was I tuned the guitar down a half step. So I'm doing a video pretty soon about, I'm not sure what it's gonna be called, but why does this make Strat sound better, or this makes a Strat sound better? I've always felt like a Strat sounds best half step down. Something about just the tone it is. I don't really like full step down. I stay in standard for YouTube purposes because the majority of people play in standard tuning. And every time I've ever done anything in half step, there's just been lots of complaints. And I'm like, okay, so just most people are in standard, so I keep all my guitars in standard. But I've had this one at a half step down now. It's funny how different these pickups sound, because these are like, they're not like super hot pickups, but you can tell how much more modernized these single coils are from the Strat. The Strats are, have all these years of age on those coils, so it's like, who knows what they originally, their like output was, what it is now. But it's very different from this guitar. Tunings did Page use? I don't know. His acoustic stuff went more open, and there's plenty of other ones where he had kind of funky tunings. But a lot of the times, Page was just in standard or drop D. Oh, Josh, thank you for the super chat, man. He says, "What's up, Robert, dude? I watch your channel all the time, and I've learned a lot from you. Hope you keep learning from your videos." Thank you, dude. I truly appreciate the support and the super chat, man. And I hope I start throwing, slightly helpful stuff out. That's always the goal. It's always just meant in fun. It's never meant. There was a comment. What's the comment? It was something like, I liked your channel more when it wasn't all about, like, look at me, I own 10 guitars or whatever it was, because I did the one video, it was like 10 guitars through 1 amp or whatever, 12 guitars, whatever it was, and I was like, and I started to respond to it, and I didn't, because I was just going to say is, I go, those videos are never ever about showing off, trying to be flashy, look what I got, any of that stuff. It's honestly just about fun. I've been making YouTube videos, and I think I have I looked the other day, I have 1,700 videos or something like that. I'm like, I've made a lot of videos over the years, and still to this day, the majority of them are legit lessons where I'm just kind of like, your finger goes here for this and this. I'm like, so any of these videos where it's like, oh, why do you need all 5 guitars? Those are just fun. Fun for me. It's an excuse to make a fun video. And that's kind of how it keeps me having fun. So it's never intended to be show-offy or ego or anything like that. It's just always I'm like, hey, that sounds like a fun video to make. Because after you make so many videos, you you run out of ideas. Do you play an acoustic guitar sometimes? Not too much. I've got one acoustic that will basically rip your fingers off because it needs set up really bad. But what was your worst nightmare moment during it? My worst nightmare moment was definitely a gig that we played. And this is like early on, back when I was in a metal band. I wasn't even playing rock. I was super, super sick. But we were opening up for it was a Christian hardcore band. Some of you might have heard of them. I don't think they're a band anymore. They were called For Today, and I've told this story before. But we were opening for them when they were on tour, and I was crazy, crazy sick. But it was like a really important show for us. And I barely remember the show. I just remember we did it, and I remember playing the show, but I remember I got off the stage, and I ended up being like really sick for like a week and a half, like really bad fever and like all kinds of stuff. And I just remember like I got off the stage finally, like we finished our set, and I didn't even get my gear. Our drummer Andy, he's like, "Oh dude, I'll tear down for you and stuff. You just go." And I went straight on. I remember me and Gabby were dating at the time, and she drove me to my parents' house. And I just remember like getting in the house and basically like laying down in the floor, like in the living room. And I was like done. So that was a really, really big nightmare, because it was just kind of like, I was a guitar player in the band. I mean, like you can't not play it, but it was brutal. And if hard like metal shows, you don't really just stand still. You're bouncing around and headbanging and all that kind of stuff. So I still did everything, but I remember I didn't get my gear back for a while. Like I said, they loaded everything up, and thankfully got it all. But yeah, I have never tried down tuning. Should I try it? Sure, man. You might really dig it. I don't frown upon anything, on guitar. Magic Joker. Oh, I just lost your comment. Rob, I'm kind of stuck trying to play anything with your pentatonic lesson, and my player Jag is coming tomorrow. What should I try out? I'm kind of stuck trying to play anything with your pentatonic lesson. I'm not sure I totally understand the question, but what you can try doing with the pentatonic lesson, I assume you mean you have the pentatonic roadmap. Is that maybe the one you have? Something you could try doing with any pentatonic stuff at all is playing it. Make sure you're playing it over musical stuff, and try implementing different rhythmic ideas over it. So this is a really good challenge, and it'll get you out of the rut of playing the same lick the same way all the time. So, in the pentatonic roadmap, I do things where I'm like, various patterns. But take that example for a start. Very common pentatonic pattern. Now, how can we play that rhythmically different? Well, this is really where practicing with a metronome and practicing one simple tempo, but utilizing stuff like quarter note, eighth note, 16th, really comes into play. And Nuno was really, really good at this. He would have these bursts of speed mixed in with his typical 16th note pattern or eighth note, whatever it was. So take that idea. See, that's all very samey. It's all the same. So like that, to me that kind of almost turns it into a new lick. Boom! All of a sudden, you have this new lick, which I don't necessarily cover that in that video. But you know, or kind of like you know, take that lick idea and it's like, okay, what if I just kind of like repeated it, you know, but alter in different notes out of the pentatonic scale. You know, already it's kind of starting a little bit different. Like that one I don't like as much, but what if I walked it back? What if I what if I got my flat 5 instead of here? And so I took an idea that's basically a pentatonic idea, and now it sounds totally different. So, you're playing a gig with a special metal band with fever chills, coughing, got off stage and collapsed in my chair. Yeah, man. Sick gigs are not fun. I don't know if I've ever had to cancel a gig though. I don't think I ever did. Always too hard-headed. I was like, that's just, that's just the way it is, you know. You got to get up there. Imagine being a singer and having to do that stuff, you know. I just have to stand there and play guitar. What's the best cheap tube amp with some good wattage? I honestly don't know. I'd say maybe like the 6505 minis or something like that. I don't know how many watts those are though. It depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to if you're playing gigs and stuff and you want to use this tube amp and you know you're going to be mic'd and through a PA, 20 watts is enough. The issue with lower watt amps like that is they break up so fast because they don't have the headroom and stuff like a normal like a 100 watt amp. The nice thing about it now with stuff like the 2 notes and all those different things is you can actually utilize the full range of that amp without going deaf. But if you know you're going to be mic'd up, a 20 watt amp is totally good. But if you're not and you're kind of doing it just through a cab, you better have a 4x12. And even then, 20 watts and drums, drummers are jerks. No, I'm joking. But they're just so loud. Especially if you have like a heavy-handed drummer. All the drummers I ever played with were, very heavy-handed and just loud. It's probably part of the reason why I lost so much hearing is because in my right ear, because I was always, on stage right. Well, I guess, yeah, I sort of say sometimes I was stage left, but most of the time stage right, and it is from drums. I think it's the drums, not the guitar. The guitar is always loud, but it's the the crash cymbals and the hi-hats and all that stuff. Miguel, thank you, dude. Rock on, brother. Love your vids. Keep it up. Dude, thank you so much, Miguel. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the support. But yeah, this is the guitar recently. Sorry, somebody was asking about HSS. I've got all sidetracked. I have been playing this guitar nonstop, constantly, since I tuned it down a half step. I played it a lot before, but it's like it woke the guitar up, and it just sounds so good. So good. Riker is asking, what is the best tip you can give a beginner? Learn songs. Don't even worry about scales and stuff like that yet. if you learn a lot of songs and licks, what happens is when you start learning, it makes learning scales so much easier. Because what happens is you have all of these licks and things that you learn from learning songs. This is how it worked for me. And, what happened was I wanted to understand what I was playing. Is why, I ever wanted to learn scales. Because I already knew a bunch of stuff from learning, stuff like Panama and, Three Doors Down solos. I'm like, I don't understand why these notes sound good. I just know that they do sound good. And I wanted to learn how to play these licks all over the place. So when I started learning like the pentatonic scale and just scales in general, it all made a lot more sense. And it made the scales click pretty quick because I'm like, oh, well, I already do that. That's just the, that's just the lick that I do. So then I was like, oh, that's a scale? And it keeps going? So it all clicked then. I was like, oh, well, that's simple. I'm like, I already know half that stuff. So if there's like one thing to learn is just learn songs, learn riffs. Don't get caught up in theory and all that stuff yet. Plenty of time for it. Get to where you get that bug of wanting to know why it is that you're playing what you're playing and why does this even work? How do I know what to play? So half step is kind of making it. Yeah, so technically I'm in E flat. Everything's down half a step. Understand how to use partial chord. Yeah, that thing like it's really interesting because I've been on this huge like lynch mob kick recently. I've been getting into a lot more lynch stuff, and before that I was in a big Zakk Wylde kick again. And what happens when I go back and listen to these albums that maybe I haven't listened to, like I haven't listened to the lynch mob albums in probably 10 years, and I realize right away how much stuff I stole from each player. I'm like, oh wow, I forgot that's who I got that from, doing like the lynch chords, I was like, oh yeah, I stole that from Tangled in a Web. I'm like, oh yeah, or like I said, I was a buddy of mine, Levi Clay on YouTube, this incredible guitar player and transcriber, was doing all these listening parties to these through the Ozzy albums, and he hit the Zakk Wylde era, so I was on this huge Zakk Wylde kick, and I was just like, wow, I forgot how much of an influence Zakk had on me, and George Lynch, all these guys. I'm like, as I'm hearing this stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember I learned that lick, and I stole that from him. Like the Lynchy stuff, that flat 2 in there, and, all these licks that Lynch is doing. Or the little slides. All over the place, and I'm like, oh yeah, I was like, I got all that from Lynch. I forgot, you just lose track of all of the people. Yeah, oh, and then. Can't remember it now. Yeah, I love Lynch stuff. I mean, I learned a lot of Lynch. But my favorite Lynch stuff is not Dokken. It's Lynch Mob. Those first 2 Lynch Mob albums. And And what happened was, I remember my guitar teacher, huge Lynch fan, Milo, and he told me, he just had a picture of him, and I just remember he had a picture of Lynch when he met him in his lesson studio, and I was like, who is that guy? He just looked cool. And he was like, oh, that's George Lynch. You gotta listen to some Lynch. And he's like, if I was you, I'd start with Dokken more than Lynch Mob. And at first I heard Dokken, and I didn't really care for Don's voice. It really wasn't my thing. And of course, eventually I grew to love Dokken. Huge Dokken fan. But when I stumbled upon Lynch Mob, this is back in we had a music store called FYE. It's like a national thing. But I just remember finding a Lynch Mob. I had the first Lynch Mob album with Oni Logan singing. And I was like, oh, Lynch. I wonder if it's like George Lynch. This is all like, I'm going to say not pre-internet, but, I still lived out in the country with, dial-up internet. So it was basically pre-internet for me. And I just remember finding that CD, and, we hear like, I'm like, oh, this. And then I loved Oni's voice, and then same with the second Lynch Mob album, which I actually liked the second album better. And I can't remember who the singer was on the second album, but I liked it even more. I'm not big into the Doors, I'll be honest. The Doors have never really done anything for me, but... Can you play the solo from Another Brick in the Wall? I don't really know any Gilmore stuff. I was talking about that at the very beginning of the stream. I don't know any Sabotage either, but I should. Robert Mason. I think I'd remember that, considering it's my name and my son's name. Forgot that little lick there at the end. So I was just like, whatever, just play something fast. I've ever heard of Rob Baker from Tragically Hip? I have. What's funny is I get like emails from people asking about stuff, or I get tagged in pictures of him on Instagram. And I'm like, nope, completely different Rob Baker. Don't even play the same style of music. But he has a cool first name. Because the Tragically Hip, they're more of like a punk band, right? Oh yeah, Dream. I always wanted to learn the Hunter. I'm the hunter, searching for love on the lonely streets again. Oh, you know what? While we're just going full Lynch mode, why don't we get the right guitar out for this? Ow, oh, that hurt. I have a cut right here on my hand, and that string literally like went right in the cut. Oh, I'm like, whoa! Why is there so little distortion? But I'm on the neck pickup. There we go. Rush. A little Rush riffathon right there. But yeah. I'm missing it. Oh, how'd you do that? What's that last one? I don't remember it anymore. Ooh, that hurt. But my guitar's out of tune. It's been like really warm and it got cold all of a sudden. All the guitars like went a little bit sharp. There it is. I don't know how to play it. Close. Yeah, close enough. Can't remember what that little ending run is. You got to get the right amount of like his like pick attack is strange. Kingdom Come. You know, I wish I knew. I really should learn some of their stuff, shouldn't I? Warm the cold all of a sudden. That's Ohio. I know, right? You're in love. Yeah. Warren is just the man. Tyler Bryant. Yeah, what's his song? Can't remember how it goes now, but cause don't you know it's all about the ride, all about the ride, baby. I love the shakedown. You know what? I don't have like tons of gain. This is just such a hot pickup, man. It is it's a smoke. The reason why, like, I don't even ever had like Warren G. Martini's pickups. They're crazy hot. Same like Doug Aldridge has really hot pickups too. But this one is really hot. This is a Duncan custom. If I remember right, isn't Warren's signature Duncan pickup? It's either like a hot 59 or a hot Jeff Beck. I can't remember. What's cracking? Yo! What's cracking? The crackle. Crackle's what's cracking. You won't call the police. Want his hair. Might be a song idea there. Fallen Angel. And the bullet blaze into a Boss Katana Mini. Ooh, nice. All right, Steve, quick harmony guitar solo now. Okay, I need a harmony of that right now. I'm sorry. Well, someone said something. Fallen Angel. Because he was at the Big Red Tower. I don't know why I played the G chord that way, but it was like a total mistake, and I was like, all right. I guess I have to finish it this way. Oh, no, in one of the bands I was in, the one guy would jokingly introduce us as a Poison tribute band, because we all our encore, we always finish with Poison songs, because everyone always loved them. Like, everyone in the crowd was always pumped to hear Poison songs, and they're just so fun to play because they're so simple. So and our singer would always be like, all right, we wrote this song back in 1987, whatever year the songs came out, and be like, all right, hit it. We would just go into whatever, we're like, well, look what the cat. I went to bed too late, I got up too soon. Kept right living my life, sinning to sin. It was just fun. Yeah, we did Nothing But a Good Time. We did Your Mama Don't, their version of Mama Don't Dance and Daddy Don't Rock and Roll. Shoot, I just went blank on the rhythm of oh, wrong key. No. I don't remember that one anymore. That was my favorite solo to play because it's a good solo. And the blues, dude, you already missed the Strat, man. You're late, bro. You're late, bro. And that's right, it's a super Strat. Who else thinks Shane needs a super Strat? Huh? Who else thinks it? Type S in the chat if you think yes. Or, sorry, type SS in the chat if you think Shane needs a super Strat. Shane, the people have spoken. The people have spoken. Adam and Roxy, if Alice Cooper is trying his hand at YouTube, you should be on his podcast. Right, Roxy? Yeah, I mean, I'm down with that stuff. I'm actually doing another video. You know how I did like you need all 4, you need all 5, you need all 6. So I'm going to do another one. You need all 6 because in each video there's like hundreds of comments. People are like, hey, no, you need a super Strat. You need this. You need that. And I'm like, okay, all right. Encourage the P90 Les Paul, so he needs a butterscotch telly is my thing. I do need that telly. What's funny is I'll tell you guys. Some of you already know. I actually was about to buy an old Gretsch. The Chicago Music Exchange had this really cool, just vibey as all get out, 62 Gretsch, and now I'm very thankful that I didn't get it, because this was all right before stuff really got bad with the coronavirus. It was still kind of up in the air. Everyone's like, oh, it's it's not going to be that big of a deal, and obviously it is a big deal. But I had a budget, and basically I was asking them if they would come down. It would have been like they would have had to come down. I think it was $200 on it. And they just said that there was no wiggle room on it. And I was like, all right, I'll think about it. It was like weird. I had a funny feeling about it. I was like, you know what? That's over the budget of what I wanted to spend on the guitar. And I'm like, I'm just gonna wait. you know, I'm just not gonna get it. And then all this stuff happened, and I'm like super thankful now that I didn't get it. But I almost got a really cool old Gretsch. Winger definitely does not get enough credit, man. Kip Winger and Red Beach and Paul Taylor, I mean, all those guys. Thanks for all the chat enablers. You know what I haven't been playing at all recently is I haven't been playing any Les Pauls at all. Not my KM, not the gold top. How do I point to it? There we go. It's been all Strat, man. All Strats and Super Strats. What is the best guitar over? I think the best guitar for getting kind of like everything done is an HSS Strat. I think it can get you, get you cooking with pretty much anything you want. It's a little bit longer scale length, so detuning is gonna be a little bit better on it. You don't have to go like crazy heavy with the strings, but yeah, a lot of that stuff. Yeah, the Red Beach, man. What is that lick? All those, I got like into the Red Beach stuff like real briefly and tried to learn his tapping, but his tapping was never really my thing. So I remember trying to learn his tapping licks, and they were just too far above my pay grade to pull off. I've always been more of like a just a picker. That kind of that combination of the picking. I just kind of like realized I'm like, okay, that's more my thing than the tapping stuff. But I've tried to get more into the tapping, but I'm just like. That sounds familiar. Yeah, so what I was just playing is an old Red Beach. I had it on VHS. I don't know if they've ever transferred it over to DVD. Actually, one of the best instructional videos I ever got was Red Beach's Cutting Loose. And the video starts with either Black Magic or Cutting Loose. I can't remember. But, no need Jason Becker? I don't, I'm afraid. But, it starts with that song. It's called Black Magic. It's like the ultimate pentatonic workout. And what a cool way to take your pentatonic scale and make it sound musical. And he's literally just playing straight through the scale. It's all hammer-ons. I remember just learning those little power chords. I was like, oh, that's really like dynamically how it builds up because of the fullness of the chord. Because he's going like this. So he could have went, but just that bite that higher one had. crazy tapping one. XYZ songs? I don't. I know some Y and T. Oh. Who knows this song? Who knows the opening line? Oh yes, I just wanna watch the girls walk by. It's like poetry. It's so high pitched. In motion across the hot summer skies. Y&T, baby. It's so good. My guitar's out of tune again, but. Got a killer solo in it. Summertime girls. Ooh, John Roth was an incredible guitar player. That. Sorry. That was not the smooth transition I was hoping for. Now, like I said, pretty much all of these guitars are going to be out of tune. I'm curious about this one, because this Telly stays in tune like a champ, but all of my guitars have went out of tune this past week because it got cold and I didn't have the heater on it. Yeah. Sharp. Like, it spared no guitars. It's been so warm. And it just got cold one day. Are you hip to Riot? No, I'm not. Never heard of Riot. Maybe I have. Actually, now I'm thinking about it. Alright. Van Halen, before you go to bed, what band? There you go. I don't remember it anymore. So many great Van Halen songs, man. that run up anymore. Can't remember anymore. It's such a crazy little walk up because it almost makes no sense. Like, you know, I'm like, what is he doing here? Not tuned to drop D. Play some ZZ Top before I go to bed. Some ZZ Top. Any Warrant off the top of my head, I'm afraid. Totally amazing guitar players, but I never learned any Warrant. I think I learned the intro to Uncle Top Cabin for a video once. Ugh. Robert, you cure my depression. Oh, well, thank you, Daniel. That means a lot, man. So drop that leg. I don't remember it. But you know, it's funny because those chords Eddie uses like everywhere, even in his one 316. Same chords in that one. Same chords in Drop Dead Legs. Same chords in. Called Fear of the Night. Literally the same chorus. Little Wing. Man, playing Hendrix stuff is such a gamble on a live stream. Let's see if we can do it. These P90s are not liking this pat. Without the noise gate on it. Which I remember it. Butchering it a little bit. Let's see if I can do it better. It's that one part there. One more time. Let's see if I can do it. Let's see. I'm like, wait, what chord would I be on? You out here, Adam? Have a great night, man. Thank you very much for tuning in. Well, now you got, look, I switched tones, so now we've got a whole nother vibe happening. You know what? Actually, I don't think I've ever used this guitar with this tone. Oh, Nate, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Stay healthy as well. Safe, healthy, just, you know, better to be safe than sorry right now. So, awesome playing. It's getting worse as the night goes on. Hangnails drive me crazy. Whatever that is. I think someone wants him to play Green Day. I don't know any Green Day. Under the Bridge. No, I never really learned that one. I learned it for a video once, but that's a hard song to play. It really is a tough one. Oh, did I miss the super chat? Was it Nate? Bigger Tower? Let me know if I'm... Nate, thank you again, man. If I missed another one, please let me know. What's the right way to play Enter the Cat Scratch Fever off? I don't even know. I don't think I ever learned it. I think it's one of those songs like I learned by accident. I was like, oh, that's the Intro to Cat Scratch Fever. All right, you know. So I don't know if it's the right way to do it or not. Forgot my name. Oh, I got the hangnail finally. Oh, man. Have a great night, dude. is almost 2 a.m. Interval taps are cool. Yeah, I always guess I'm not big on like the standard way of like tapping, like the normal that gets up. But I always think it's kind of cool to have the just tapped in there for a minute. You know, just the. Or you know, like kind of like the Zach Wild style, where there's a really big interval where he'll kind of like tap something and he'll just be like. He uses the tap to like really get far away from the note and has a really cool sound. Stefan, thank you so much, man. Can you call me Big Brain Danny before I go to bed? Big Brain. Well, later, Big Brain Danny. These nines. Oh, these are 10s. I have 10s on everything. Actually, I even put 10s back on the 335 because I don't have an extra set of 11s. I don't know. I used to know D. I don't remember it. I learned it a very, very long time ago. Too long ago for my memory to, retain. You watching any of the Steve I under Facebook Live? I haven't seen any of Steve I's live stuff, I'm afraid. Grab the Charvel Slayer. What's the Charvel Slayer? Guess I would consider the Cali to be a Charvel Slayer. How's the quarantine going? As good as I think it possibly could. Ohio is on a lockdown now, and they extended it to May 1st. But we basically did like a self-induced lockdown. I think this is week 4 for us, and we're doing really good. We've been we successfully have not had to go anywhere. We've been ordering our groceries like online, and someone delivers them. And basically, when that happens, after that, then we actually wipe down all the groceries with disinfecting wipes, which might seem like ridiculous and over the top, but it's kind of one of those things. Even though it is technically affecting older people the most, and not so much younger kids, but it's like I don't want to take any kind of risk with Mason or Gabby, so I make sure that I go out there and wipe everything down, and then we take it inside and we wash it off and dry everything off. So it's we're at week 4 as well. Yeah. So this is week 4 for us, and we're doing good. Most influential guitar player for me? Oh, there's so many of them. I don't know if I just have one. Like, Eddie Van Halen's why I play guitar, but Eric Johnson, Nuno Bettencourt, all those guys, have had very high amounts of inspiration on me. Sorry, I was going to grab the Cali because someone said the Charvel Killer. I wasn't sure if this was the reference. This thing, oh my god, nailed the chair. This thing might not be in tune, so we'll have to see. Because, like I said, everything's been knocked pretty far out. Wow, one of the few that's basically in tune. Kudos to the Floyd Rose. Let's go back to the other tone patch, though. Now, this is the guitar that I always say has the Eddie Van Halen tone to it. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about Eddie's fingers, because my fingers are nothing compared to his, but the guitar has a lot of that in there. I don't know, like when I hear it with this tone, it makes me think of Eddie, you know? I've actually written a lot of new music while, you know, on the quarantine. And, you know, some of you might not know, but most of you probably do, that, you know, I was on a break all last month. This past week was the first week back for me making new videos. And, you know, so I had a lot of time. Like, you know, luckily this month was already intended to be very, very chill and relaxed. You know, obviously we couldn't go out and go to the movies and do all that kind of stuff like we wanted to do. And Mason's birthday, unfortunately, fell, you know, during the quarantine, and had to just have like a small party here with us. But, you know, we've taken it really, really serious as far as the quarantine. We were just supposed to have our washing machine worked on. It's still working. Just like it has like one setting that doesn't work or something. And they were supposed to do it, like their company just got released as an essential business, and they're like, oh, you know, we have you scheduled for next Monday. I'm like, actually, I go, if we could, you know, push this back to the stay-at-home order is done on May 1st. I go, that'd be great. Like, nothing against you guys, but literally, you know, no one's allowed in the house, and no one's allowed out, as in like out into public, unless it's an absolute necessity, which, you know, we haven't needed to go out. Later, Mason. Remember when someone would ask you what you want to drink? Those were the days. Stuff with some higher named artist, bigger than me, obviously. Want to do a solo on one of the tunes? Man, you know, to be honest, it always just depends on time. Like, I just did a solo for a buddy of mine, and even that was a little bit of a struggle to get time to do it. So I like doing the more session-y stuff, and it always just, you know, time is the biggest factor. And obviously now that I'm back to making videos again and kind of working, time is now, unfortunately, very, very few and far. Any favorite YouTube guitarist other than yourself? Of course. Well, I'm certainly not one of my favorite YouTube guitarists. I love lots of guys, you know, the obvious ones like Paul Davids, but I love Rick Graham, Sean Tubbs, Pete Thorne, Tim Pierce, Rick Beato, Ben Eller. Who else? You know, like I said, lately Tom Bukovac has been posting videos. I don't know if I would consider him necessarily a YouTube guy, but you know, certainly someone to watch. Just Google Tom Bukovac. A very easy name to spell, right? My main rig, it always depends on what I'm playing. Right now I'm just doing the Axe Effects. So I do the Axe Effects when I do live streams while I'm here, because I can control it all. And I can do different effects. Like, I don't need to be turning other stuff on and off. So I'm just using the Axe Effects. Well, your holiday already over? Yeah, you know, that's what's crazy. So I started the break, Sam. I was on a break for 35 days. So it's crazy that it went by so fast. Oh yeah, Rabia is amazing. You know, I love Rabia. Some Hendrix. Man, you guys are asking me to play all the artists once I get like a guitar that's totally not their thing. Whole lot of love. I forgot for a second. Definitely knocked it out of tune. This might be the point of no return. It's out of tune. I knew when I was doing those big bends because these strings needed to be stretched out. Still down right there. The guitar was still like, oh my god, was still moving a little bit, and I was like watching. I'm like keeping my eye on it. I'm like, what are you doing over there, guitar? Hold on for 1 second here. I needed to see something. I forgot to ask you guys, how does the video quality look tonight? Okay, so that's done now. How's it go? I don't remember it. Looks good? Okay, awesome. 760. Hey, today is the anniversary of Ultimate Sin. Oh, that's cool. I did not know that. How'd it go? Tell what you wanna. so many Zeppelin riffs that I've forgotten. I don't know Barnyard Stomp, I'm afraid. Bring it on home. Tupac's Hero. Be a jukebox hero, come alive. Strat should be illegal. Yeah, no, I want to get it refretted. I was supposed to. I got a hold of the guys down at Groons. I was gonna take it down there and get it refretted. Obviously, all what's going on in the world happened, and it's not an option anymore. But as soon as I'm able to, I plan on taking this down there to get refretted. Billy Squire. Always makes me think of Ramble On. Play the song Jimmy Page hates the most. There you have it. So I expect you going to. I think I'm just gonna go with 6105. You know, I was thinking about 6100s, but I don't know yet. So we'll have to see. I am going nickel though, and not stainless. You know, I want to keep nickel on here. I would maybe go to stainless. Like if after I've had a couple of refrets on it, I assume that I'm going to play the thing a lot. After a few of them, I would then maybe eventually, before it was too late to where you just can't get it refretted anymore, I would do stainless. But let's we'll see how long nickel lasts. Up here's where the frets are really worn out. How's that song go? remember anymore. Dang it. When you switch pots, switch the correct. I'm sorry. What does it say? John says when you switch the pots / switch. Wow, that's so many S's in a row. To the correct ones, what if any tone change did you hear? I feel like the guitar got a little bit brighter, a little bit snappier. Which was okay, because like I said, the only kind of like non-original thing I did to the guitar was I did alter the wiring slightly. A buddy of mine, Nick, told me to have how to wire it so that this tone knob here, the back one, is wired to both the middle and the bridge pickup. So like I said, I can have the bridge pickup, which typically, right now I have a lot of distortion. If you have a lot of distortion, it changes everything. But typically, the bridge pickup on a Strat is almost unusable for a lot of stuff because it's so bright and so twangy. Like I said, it sounds fine here because I have a ton of distortion. But, I wanted to be able to roll it down, especially for clean stuff. So now I can roll this down or roll it up. And so on. You're hearing the guitar, or it probably doesn't sound the best because you're going to get some of my vocal mic in here as well. You're hearing the Axe direct, but I'll turn my vocal mic off for here for a second. So there's like direct sound without the mic, and you can hear there's quite a bit of difference coming in because I have it loud in here. No. So what you're hearing is a direct signal. Right now, what you're hearing a mixture of the kind of condenser mic that I have to pick up my voice, and I'm hearing it through the monitors, through my studio monitors. But the majority of what you're hearing is actually a direct sound. So right now you're hearing a mixture of both. And let me switch to the tone that I have for my Strat. That's just kind of like my everything tone. But I really like this one a lot. Let me make sure. Oh, that's my mic. I need to turn this down. Okay, so like I said, so watch. When I turn this off, you'll hear it changes a little bit. It should sound technically better, whatever better is. Okay, So there's that one, but once I turn this off, you hear only direct. You're not hearing the monitors anymore. And now you'll be back to the room as well. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, huge difference. And part of the reason, unfortunately, why it probably doesn't sound the best here, like when I do like the lesson things I'm going to be doing, fingernail clippers, yes. I'll have it tuned down lower in here. Part of the reason why this is kind of get overloaded a little bit is because I just have it so loud in here. But it's hard to like play and really, at least for me, and like feel the energy of the guitar when it's super, super quiet. So like it's just kind of the sacrifice. Like I like it to be, you know, a little bit, you know, kind of cranked in here. I'm going to mute it so you can hear the better audio. one point, it really sounded like the tone. I was like, there. But I like totally couldn't remember. I was like, I'm like, what in the world of the chord? Because he doesn't do it down here. That's what it is. I couldn't remember. Because I learned later, like, I always thought he did it down here. That diminished, but he does it up here. Because I watched the live video, and I saw his hand shift up instead of down. I was like, oh, whoa. Where are you going? And then it sounded the same. I'm like, uh-oh. I done learned it wrong. Major 7. Greg always figured what my Sunday will be learning the song. Yeah, there you go, Greg. Dude, it's a killer song. Tons of riffs, you know, and then it goes to that next part where there's like the huge harmony guitars. How's it go? Can't remember it now. Not a long-time follower. Have you done much studio work? I've done some studio stuff, you know. The biggest thing for me and studio stuff is time. You know, I put most of my time into the YouTube stuff and creating my own guitar courses and you know, and teaching, just doing that kind of stuff. It's really where I put the majority of my time. It's not that I don't want to do more studio stuff. You know, I've been offered different projects, but the issue is just it takes up a lot of time, you know, honestly, to do it. And nowadays, honestly, again, this goes back to something I said earlier, you know, not trying to make every decision ever about money, but a lot of like these studio projects nowadays, like they don't have much budget. So it's kind of like, wow, well, I can't spend like, you know, weeks working on something and you know, just get paid basically nothing for it. So as much as I would like to do more of it, it's kind of like a hard road to navigate. You know, I've thought about making some videos of some of the session stuff that I've done for different, you know, groups and different, you know, companies. But the issue with that is getting all the copyright approval stuff. So in order for me to play the part that I wrote with the music, it's like, well, either it's going to be copyright claimed and, you know, basically the video could be taken down or whatever, you know, whatever it is. So it's like this really, really like hard road to navigate doing that. How tough is it to write music? How tough is it to write new music for me? You know, there's always going to be times when like the inspiration is like really flowing and you can just kind of like write something right off the bat. But, you know, I'd say, you know, thankfully I've always had a pretty, I don't want to say easy because that's kind of like undermining it, but I've been able to like write stuff whenever I needed to. I'll say that. Did I ever reveal the new piece of gear yet? No, I haven't. You know, that's still waiting on approval from the owner of that company. Can you play Can Halen? Can Halen. I play more like Cannot Halen. It's more like the level that I'm at. What do you do when your inspiration tanks and you're running low songwriting wise? You know, a lot of times what I like to do, if it's something like that, like I'll put on like a random drum beat, you know, whatever it might be. You know, I'll just kind of turn something on, and I'll just kind of see where that takes me. Because sometimes you just need rhythmically a kind of like a wake up call. So like if you're playing something, you know, if it's like rock stuff, I can usually like that's like my strongest area. So I can you know I can do rocky riffs all day. Whenever it's like, oh, it needs to be more like melodic or more like this or whatever it is, I'll kind of be like, okay, what? And, you know, like I'll need like a jumping off point. And sometimes, like I said, having drum tracks will be really inspiring. Or like I said, I'll just try to like think simple. You know, it could be like. See, already hearing that, like my ear naturally goes someplace. I'm like, dun, dun. Don't remember anything that I played. But like I said, you just kind of like listen, and it just kind of tells you where to go. You know, it changes always remain of me. Oh no, that's a total compliment, man. And it's probably from that. You know, very, very EVH, you know, Hendrix influenced with a lot of that stuff. So yeah, so there you go. Like I said, whatever any of that just was, that could be, you know, a new idea somewhere in there. You know, might have been something good. Maybe a lot of times, you know, it all sucks, but sometimes it works out. My most versatile guitar, I don't know if there's like a single one, but I always say it's like the HSS Strats are the most versatile. Noodling around, that was fantastic. Some more noodling around? Sure. Different key. So let's see. He is always like really inspiring to me. I've told this story before, many live streams, but why I do that, kind of the changing bass note thing, that was never, I didn't get that from like Hendrix or something. Like a lot of people always reference that as like a Hendrix thing. The reason why I started ever doing that stuff was because I grew up way out in the country. So I had a friend who played guitar, but maybe see him once a week or once every couple of weeks or whatever it was. And I didn't have any way to record myself to jam. And what I found was I could play notes on the low E string. And that was the backing track. Like I was my own backing track. Like not, nowhere near the level of someone like Tommy Emmanuel, who, has these incredible intricate bass lines. Like I never, I'm not that good. But I started doing. I found is like, I could figure out chord progressions, and I would move the bass line around, and it just became really good practice. And this is actually something that I encourage anybody to try doing. Is I used my thumb around it a lot. Because what a good progression, E major, C sharp minor, B to an A. A great, very powerful chord progression. So do it, with your finger. C sharp minor. I could outline the straight chord if I wanted to, or play around it, Shifted down to the B. Remember, I went to B major. But now I'm in a new spot. So to keep this bass note, I need to learn how to navigate essentially. This area of whether you're viewing it as a pentatonic scale, whatever it is. I'll give you guys a better camera angle. Sorry. Oh, did I turn that camera off? I did. So like I said, now I'm here. This is my B note. So this all just came from, like I said, I didn't have anybody to jam with. So the only option was to jam alone, and my thumb was my rhythm track, essentially. So then here I go to A. Now A is nice because I get to have an open string again. So that would really free me up. So then I'm like, okay. Back to B. Back to the E. Then you start hearing these more tension notes in And then to me, it's all about like little things, like using your fingers. So so on. So like I said, that's really where all that stuff came from for me, because it was just a matter of I needed a backing track. Like I said, I didn't have internet. Like we had internet, but this is all pre-YouTube, so like there weren't just backing tracks. Like the only backing tracks I had, this was like literally like one of the most like game-changing like guitar moments for me, was a guitar magazine called Guitar One, which I think Guitar World bought. But in one of the issues, it came with a little CD-ROM, so you could play the lessons, and it was. I remember one had Richie Kotzen in it. That's how I discovered Richie Kotzen. But it came with 5 jam tracks in 5 different styles. It was like I wore those backing tracks out. Like one was a metal one was a rock one was a blues. One was like jazz, which I skipped that one. And then one was like this ballad. But I remember like that was it. That was all I had to jam with, And I wore those. It was so nice to have something different because, I could play that stuff, but it was so much fun to have that. So your hair is so smooth and silky. How am I at the lockdown? The lockdown, to be honest, I hate to say it, to be like, oh, we're doing fine because we haven't really had to like change that much, but we really haven't. And I'm not saying that to belittle other people who are dealing with much worse situations, but I'm just such a homebody as it is. And I just love staying home, So this is kind of what we were planning on doing anyways. I just hope everyone who is really suffering can either get back to work, or obviously like the stimulus thing is going on. I hope that gets out there soon. There's so many people who are in desperate need of that, or like the unemployment, like so many things. I just hope it goes as smoothly as possible for others. Gotta go, teams. Later, Sam. Thank you so much for tuning in, man. Your phrasing between the singles gives your sound a weird doubling sound. I love it. Oh yeah, that's the mic. Yeah, unfortunately, that's just what that thing does. Oh man, Ashamyol. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Been thoroughly entertained the past couple hours. Dude, thank you so much for the super chat, man. That is very, very appreciated. Ashmule. Man, I'm sure I'm butchering that. but thank you very much. I think stainless frets, I think stainless frets can be great. I am going to stay with nickel for this one though. That Friedman amp looks ridiculously huge. It's pretty big. I mean, it's a full size amp. It's a big old Betty. I'll let you guys hear the stuff here for a minute with better audio. Sorry. Did you use a looper pedal early on, and what do you think of using them as a beginner? I think they're great. You know, I just didn't have one. You know, I don't know if I know the looper pedals, but I don't know if like the Ditto looper was out yet. Maybe it was, but yeah, I never had a looper pedal. What I ended up doing later on was you know, it sounded horrible, but basically I bought a little voice recorder, you know, for like recording like memos or something like that, and I would record myself playing a riff. You know, I had it was a Digitech RP50, and it had built-in drum loops, so I would turn that on, and then I would sit there and record myself, and I'd play a riff, and then what I did was the voice recorder that I got had a line out, and I would run that into a bass amp that I had, so I could hear it loud enough, you know. So I would hear this very crude backing track through this, you know, voice recorder into the bass amp, and then I would play over it. And then to like add an extra layer, like if I was trying to do like harmony guitars, I had a tape recorder, which I would then record everything else that was going on it, and then play the lead line over it, and then you know, unhook the voice recorder and hook the tape recorder up, and then play it through. I mean, it just sounded like a cluttered mess, but it was the only, I didn't know what I was doing, so it was the only way I could get multiple, you know, layers on stuff. What are the secret tricks you would never tell anyone? Well, the first one, no, I don't really have any like secret tricks that I can think of. Really, like I share everything that I know on the channel. Tom Bukovac, I've been talking about him, just posted a video the other day, and he talked about something that I'm always talking about. It's something that, you know, I'm always doing. He's talking about doing stuff like this. You know, a lot of people do these things. He called them sixths, but to me, I'm viewing them as thirds because it's you know, it's harmonizing. But basically, figure out how to do them all over the place. But on your lower strings, and I got this something I got from John Mayer. You know, when he does that kind of stuff, it's so good, so good. And so what I would do is I sat there and I would I did my whole scale. You know, doing these kind of like intervals, third, sixth, whatever you're calling them. So I always knew those. But when I learned that John Mayer song, that one, I realized, I'm like, oh, that's how I make my notes sound bigger, you know? And it's a way of like harmonizing, because if you harmonize it like this, like if I just walk through the scale, that it has its own sound for sure, but it's very like, you know, Margaritaville or something, you know. You know, this is what it reminds me of, or like, you know, more of like the Spanish kind of. What's the Lost Lonelywood? That's what those things always remind me of, and that's not necessarily a sound that I go after. So when I saw John Mayer doing that stuff, I was like, whoa, it's the same idea. You know. You know, I just like the way You guys can probably still hear me, but you probably can't see me. I'm just guessing that you can't see me. That is a little thing I like to call the battery died in the camera. A very technical term. You know, very, very heavy in the technical world of cameras. So don't worry. It's cool. It's just, you know. Quinn. Look who's talking, Quinn. Do you ever sleep? But anyways, yeah, so like doing that kind of stuff. I just found like it was like a little bit of a secret kind of thing because it was so powerful. And you can do it with like a lot of distortion and you know, oh sorry. All that stuff to me, it's like a very powerful technique if you use it the right way. First world problems, yeah, right. Camera battery died. Oh, I was just like, wait, did I forget to turn the mic back on? Someone got a new guitar. Back, and I asked about the Les Paul. It was my mom's account, and so it was Heather Ball, not Braden. Ooh, sorry if I missed it. But great to hear you making those guitars. Saying thank you very much, man. Appreciate that. Just you can jam. Right now, I can't. Ah, dude, jam it up. So you're just making my mistakes make kind of sense. Yeah, I mean. Number 4 or number 5 on your Strat. Why? I like 5, but 4 is my SKYPE. 4, I can still get the 4 sound. So this is my favorite. Position 5. No, that's middle. There you go, Quentin. Here's a wedge position for Quentin. Let's hear it with better audio. Thank you very much, Big Red Tower. Yeah, no, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love position 4 on a Strat. 5 and 4 are like, you know, the two best positions on a Strat. 2 is also very stratty, but it's not really one I go after. There's 1. Here's 2. You know, that to me that's like the classic Strat quack when you do that one. The middle position I never use. So usually just neck. Sunday, 9 a.m. here in Vienna. Oh wow. Sunday, it's almost 3 a.m. here, so bit of a long live stream tonight. Hi from Switzerland. Let me see something here real quick, Lack. One Monumento, please. There it is. Okay. Still 226 of you guys. Wow. Thank you. Been out here in Arizona. Drinking beer and hanging. Just Strat guy. I love the 63 you have. But could you please play a little bit Fender Telecaster? Yeah. Oh, I'm like, where is it? Yeah, the Telly. Switch these out real quick. Telly might not be the most in tune. I haven't really played it since I changed the strings on it. So I'm pretty sure it will not be in tune. Instantly just want to play country. Night Song. I know I used to know how to play Night Song, but I don't remember anymore. I can't remember who asked for the telly, but here is the direct audio if you want to hear it. I mean, there's so much reverb. Can you even hear the guitar at this point? But here it is with the mic muted. So there's the telly. Much more of a riffy guitar, but telly just sounds so good. Bam! You've been tellified. I'm a telly you. Great tone. Yeah, that telly sounds really good. It's nothing special. It's just a good old American standard. I think it's a 2013, 2012. I don't know any Roy Gallagher. Funk 49. Did I play that earlier? I can't remember. Here's a giant knot. Last 3 hours have been fantastic. Thanks for hanging out, Jim. Dude, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you all of you guys. There's still 223 people here. To do chord structures on my Strat. Is the teller the same chord structures? I'm not sure what that means, I'm afraid, David. If I see your question again, let me know what you mean, I'm afraid. What's the this is a Friedman. So this is just like my teller that I have in the white, what is that, Super Strat. Yeah, I want to do more videos with Austin. I know, 3 hours, right? I don't have a Bigsby tram, but I want one. I want one. I almost got a Gretsch. Let me. I'm gonna turn this off again. Here, I kind of like that idea. Whatever I was just playing. So here's the mic canceled again. Oh snap! Oh snap! We have a new member. Crystal Jackson. What's up? You get the new member riff. But I'm going to play it with the other tone and hopefully play it even better for you. New member riff, welcome. Nope, my finger's too tired. Thank you so much, Crystal. Welcome. Next, actually, next week when I do a live stream, there will be a pre-show for all the channel members. So, sorry there was not one this week. This week I was just trying to see how it was on the floor. This would go. But welcome, new member. Trying to lurk too. Well, the only thing to do now is write a song called Crystal J. It was 3 a.m. She's a new member on the YouTube channel. Yeah. It's 3 a.m. These lyrics are killing it, right? Welcome to the new members, yeah. 'Cause it's 3 a.m. I like the riff though. All of a sudden, huge right turn, rock song. That song is called Crystal J. Wherever that one was going. And all of a sudden it sounds like Iron Maiden. It's about the way my brain works. On a serious note, thank you so much, Crystal. How's it loud? Oh, it is. I guess it's kind of loud, but not super loud. You guys are hearing Kenny direct audio, so you hear like this very full, robust sound. Even though, like I said, it is kind of loud over here, but not like too loud to be playing at 3 a.m. I realize why I'm like still so awake is I haven't had any coffee in like 3 weeks. And about 30 minutes before the live stream, I like made a cup of coffee. So I'm just like, woo! I'm so wired and ready to go. pick up on a Strat for early VH tone? I mean, it has to be a humbucker, but I'm not real sure. Jam till the sun comes out. Ain't going down till the sun comes up. Man, my mom complains when the amp is on 2. It's 9:30. I remember my dad telling me, like, do you have to play so loud? So he went and bought me headphones. Huge question. Members get a 1 hour lesson each month? No. The members, there's different videos that the members get. They get, it's like I break down like this tone that you're hearing now. I break down the tone. I have a video about how I record songs. I do, typically on these live streams, I do a 30-minute pre-show for them where, it's just channel members who can tune in, can see what's going on or ask questions, talk about whatever, and tone is distortion. Not so much an overdrive, but yeah. So it's stuff kind of like that, you know. Oh no. Oh no. Don't do online lessons at all, right, Rob? I don't, unfortunately. I'll end with this because this is another thing that the channel members get is they'll get kind of first dibs on these. I don't do the online like private lessons anymore, I'm afraid. Ruben sounds great. Thank you. Yeah, I love this guitar. Yeah, but I don't do the online like individual lessons. But something I'm starting. I was going to start it this week, but I decided to hold off one more week. And I'm starting. It's a live group clinic, basically, is what it is. And each month, I'm going to prepare for one of these, and it's going to be a little over an hour. And I'm going to have course material prepared. I've talked about this in other live streams. But I'm going to have like obviously all the stuff prepared, tabbed out, and some backing tracks for you guys to use, like whatever the topic is. They would kind of be suited more to what we're talking about. And basically, like it'll be limited to how many people can tune in, and there'll be like essentially tickets available is kind of how I'm viewing it. And you guys can read what it's about well before you like purchase it, and there will be a time, so you have to just make sure that like it's going to be on Saturday mornings. Make sure you can be there, and that's all going to be going on. So that's going to kind of like take the place of the live lessons, and because then at the end of each section that we're going over in like the clinic, you can ask questions and I'll answer them in real time. It'll be pretty much this setup, and I'm gonna have like the other camera up so I can do like close-up shots of the guitar in my hands, and all that stuff. So that's all gonna be going on, but that's gonna be limited to 30 people, and we'll see how the first one goes. A group and a group secret handshake. Make sure you pay attention to that. Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna be it, guys. Les Paul. Oh, I won't be able to play the Les Paul. They're not in tune. Like none of my guitars are really in tune. It would take me a minute to tune them. So now I can play a lot of them. Awesome. That's very awesome, Jerry. Pierce compared to a Charvel very different. Very, very different. I'd give the PRS the edge over the. I guess it depends on which Charvel. Like they're just I can't even say edge. They're so different. They don't feel anything the same. To the Charvel SoCal. Yeah, I guess comparing it to a SoCal, I would give it the edge over SoCal. Awesome. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Shampoo do I use? Pantene, of course. And I think that's it. So other than that, thank you guys all so much. Have a great Sunday. Keep being safe out there. Just hang in there. We're all going to be, back to, as normal as possible. Before we know it, you just got to hang in there. I need to beef up my YouTube game. Yeah, dude. Just slave away at it. That's all you really can do. Is post all the time. So other than that, guys, that'll be it. So I'll see you later. Let's do some kind of like PRS versus vintage Strat beats the PRS. I was gonna play some more, but you know what? My hands are tired. So other than that, guys, I will see you all, and I'm gonna quit saying other than that. So just have a good day, and I will see you all on the next live stream. New video on Monday, of course, as always. And yep, pretty much it. Bye, guys.